so well. The back of the distributor is real close to the firewall, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work there. Not a big deal. Excuse me. I'm about to go ahead and get this front end jacked up and get these springs out of here. We're sitting here shaking it around. I can tell the upper ball joints are in bad shape, so they're gonna have to go as well. So instead of just reaching through there and cutting the springs in a couple pieces and pulling it out and do it in a fast and easy way, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just pull the wheels off, go ahead and bust the spindles off there, get those off where I can change them. I've got those new ones with the 4-inch drop, the Beltex. So I can put those back on there and see. Dad and I were taking a look at this, and it looks like we are gonna have to go ahead and get rid of the AC and heating components. I won't know how much or how close it's gonna be, but logically thinking, if we're 18 inches from the frame to the ground here, we need 18 inches from here to the top, and it's pretty close. That's gonna be right in the way. You know, when we're looking at it, and I hate getting mid-building and having to switch some things around. But it's one of those deals that this is gonna be custom anyhow. And we knew that. It's not gonna be a daily driver by any means. So if we're gonna go for it, I said this from the beginning, I'll take a super simple project and turn it into a high dollar build. It looks like we're gonna have to go ahead and just get rid of the heat in there, cut out the firewall, or, you know, get that done. There's gonna be some modification to get this thing down as far as I want it to go. I don't want it to just be a low rider. I want it to be bagged, and I want it to sit right, and I want it to, if it doesn't lay frame, I want it close, half an inch close or an inch close, something like that. So we're slowly getting there. It's midday Saturday. It's already hot outside, so the dogs are out. I'm not gonna try to keep them inside today. I'm gonna turn on the fans and the radio and get my tools all lined up and get that done. So I'll catch back up with you guys here in a little bit when I make some progress. There's no need in watching this. If you need to know how to do it, there's plenty of other YouTube videos. Just follow my build, not my lead. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut you guys off for now, and next thing you know, I'm gonna have this thing taken apart. So, ciao. Well, as one would imagine, that escalated quickly. So now, I'm gonna be pulling apart everything, which is the right way to do it. Not the fast way, the right way. So, I'll talk to you guys for a few minutes, and then I'll go ahead and get busy. I gotta get all these old rusty cotter pins out of here. And there's still spider webs in here from the turn of the century. Get out of there. I was hoping I could just cut the bone stops off and just cut the springs while I was in there. Hard still don't cut with Sawzall blades very easy. I'd have been here for 2 weeks in a year trying to get that done, so I figured I might as well just pull it all apart. I gotta do it anyway if I'm putting them drop spindles in there, so it's gonna get me at a good point. Well, that, and I can check the brakes and bearings and everything else too, which I'd wind up doing at a later time. I was just trying to hurry up and trying to get stuff done, not doing it right. So now I'm fishing out cotter pins that have been in here and they're rusted. This has been soaking. I've soaked it a few times, so that always is good. But there's no fun here. Matter of fact, there's probably no need in watching. I just thought I was going to make something and do it fast where we could get some fast results and see, but no, not the case. But we're not going to be on the struggle bus either. We're going to get this done and do it right and do a good job. Like I said, I needed to go through all the brakes and bearings and everything anyway, so I figured I might as well do it now. Try to get these pins pried out of here, which is always going to be the fun part of it. Oh, and they're bent. Bent good. Bent real good. Let me get a screwdriver. Oh God, and it's hot today. There's a little wind blowing. Not enough to
make you feel good about what you're doing. Just enough to keep you from cussing though. And when I'm not filming, I do go ahead and open the doors and let everything cool off. My dogs are in here messing around, getting in my way. So there's probably no need to watch all this. It's relatively important, but there's nothing to watching getting cotter pins out and all. So I'll catch up with you guys in a bit. Well, I got that pesky cotter pin out of there. I went ahead and took the brake cable off. You can't see this, but this is cracked. And of course it's leaking everywhere. So I'm just gonna leave it dangling and let it get into the bucket. I'm gonna go ahead and pull these bearings. I want you guys to see this. First time I do, this thing's been sitting in the field for years. It don't make any sound. It sounds like they're brand new. Nice and clean. Very good. There's another cotter pin. Gotta love them. I want to check these out, so y'all probably don't care to, but I feel like it's something that needs to be seen, because this will tell you the condition of most things. All the stuff that you don't see, because that's typically where all the trouble hides. And my needle nose, my long needle nose. Who knows? Who knows? I had them back there. There they are. Straighten this out a little bit. Those little cheap screwdrivers you can get at Harbor Freight for next to nothing. They're not good for screwdrivers, but they're good for cotter pins and that sort of thing. If you can hook it and get it in there and pull it up enough to get a bite on them, you can keep from tearing all your picks up. Get that bad boy in there like so, if possible. Not quite yet. There we are. So it's in there halfway through. No pry bars. Scoot, scoot, scoot. I found that's the easiest way to get them off. That's about the only thing they're good for. So anyway, that's off. This shouldn't be tight at all. Perfect. Man, it looks new in here. Grease is red, which is what you want to see. Looks like a new castle nut. I don't know if y'all can see that. Perfect. So we're gonna flip that up, keep it in there. All that's nice and clean while all that brake fluid drips out. It's got to come out anyway. I'm fixing to have to pull the rear brakes too. Nice. A little dry. Drier than what I like. No rust on the inner bearing. Washer looks good. They're a little dirty. Not bad. Plenty good though. Plenty good. So those will go in that. Brace looks good. Hell, even the seal looks good. Nice. Other than all the daddy long leg baby eggs in there. That seal's a little wore. Gotta get that out right quick. Always good to put new ones in there anyway, so we ain't worried about not tearing this one up. We can tear this up. Be okay with that. There's our bearing. Come right out. Like I said, a little dry. A little dirty too. I bet that seal was a little dry from sitting, so I'll clean those. And they'll be fine to reuse. Races look good. Always got to be a bearing. And I don't have anything to wipe my hands on, other than a dirty shirt with brake fluid on it. Alright, let me get this seal out right quick and we'll go on to the next part. That is not your home. There's our seal. Perfect. That's done. This actually looks pretty good. I'll take these and have these turned. There's no wear on them. They're just a little rusty. Nice. Reusable. Very much so. So, down to the backing plate. No need to watch this. I'll tune you in when it gets a little cooler. Alright, so I'm going to explain to you guys what I'm doing here. So, and this is my logic of thinking. I'm taking out the springs on both sides. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the brakes and all that right now. I'm going to put the spindle back on. Those other spindles that I got, they don't fit. Surprise. So I'm going to pull out the springs, that way there's no front suspension. This thing should just set down. Your springs are what is welded to the frame. Well, it's this right here. This is your subframe that's welded, or this is bolted to your frame. Your frame is a solid structure. This is a solid structure. The bag mounts go into the top of this. So I could go ahead and put those in now. I'm going to wait until I go ahead and pull everything apart, because what I want to do is get the springs off and set this down. I'm just going to have loose bolts. Okay, we're going to put this on. We're going to put the bearings back on, put the wheel on, and go do the other side. That way, I've got this up on the lift. That way I can do the same thing in the back. I'm going to go ahead and cut out the bump stops and take the leaf springs off. And that's going to give me quite a bit more. Now, with these wheels on there, it's not going to go all the way to the ground, which is fine. But at this point, it's going to tell me if this front, I'm already assuming I'm going to have to get rid of that. But it at least drops it down with no suspension on it, and it's going to put it, you know, I don't know, 6 or 7 inches above the concrete, which when you put the fenders and the bed on and everything, it looks pretty good because the top of the wheels will be tucked into the fenders. However, that's going to give us enough so that we can cycle the steering and see what else is going to need to change while we're in here. So this is just a short-term deal. This isn't going to stay. This is just to mock it up, so to speak, so that we can see where it's going to be sitting. So that's that. I just thought I'd probably tell you guys that. At this point, in order to get the bags in there, we're at a simple stage. The lower ball joint and the upper ball joint both need to be replaced. The easiest way for me to do this, and the best way to do this, is go ahead and buzz those off, pull this whole control arm off. There's some great big bolts sitting back here. There's only 4 of them on some U-bolts. So it's not a big deal. And it's not hard to get to, even with the engine in there. So I'm going to go ahead and be able to get those off, drop this lower one off. At that point, I can get, you gotta be kidding, I can go ahead and get up in there. I'll have to do this. There I go, being all grumpy about it, never wanted to know what I wanted to eat from Slotsky. I'm such a butthole when I'm hungry. So, in essence, what that's going to do, we got our solid surface. We can drop this down. We're going to get this spindle off there anyway. This ball joint needs to be replaced, which I can grind these off, knock these out. These bottom ones are press in, which are no fun. I got to press, so you know that's going to be another deal. But the buckets that I have ordered have to go in here anyway, so we're going to have to set that on here, cut this out, drop this down, clean this up, weld it on, gusset up the bottom, gusset up this top with the plate that it bolts to. You go in through the top up here and get your bag bolted on. The bag hose goes through there. It's about to get pretty sketchy. We went through all the stuff we got too from Air Max. God, it's such nice stuff. They did me so good on that. So anyway, that's what I'm doing here. I'll go ahead and leave it at that. I'm going to go ahead and button this back up. Loose bolts, of course, and tight enough I can roll it around. I'll put it